Now that Trump has been indicted, we have a new standard by FANI Willis. And under this new big FANI standard, we're very concerned for Democrats. They have committed so many felonies, we're waiting for their indictment to come any day now. But Hillary and Maddow, two people who've committed many felonies by denying elections, by claiming that presidents were illegitimate, by doing the same things that they're indicting Trump for, they're kind of oblivious to that. They're instead just sitting around laughing it up, yucking it up. This is such a sad state of affairs, and it's just a big funny joke. Shout out to the Storm Redux for clipping this.
I can't believe this.
Yeah, this is not the circumstances in which I expected to be talking to you.
Nor me, Rachel. It's always good to talk to you, but honestly, I didn't think that it would be under these circumstances. Yet another set of indictments.
Yeah.
Do you feel satisfaction in that? You warned the country, essentially, that he was going to try to end democracy, but most of the country didn't believe
she's satisfied.
Well, it's hard to believe. I don't feel any satisfaction. I feel great, just great, profound sadness that we have a former president who has been indicted for so many charges that went right to the heart of whether or not our democracy would survive. And we don't know yet what the charges coming out of Georgia are, but he set out to defraud the United States of America and the citizens of our nation. He used tactics of harassment, intimidation. He made threats. He and his allies went after state officials, local officials responsible for conducting elections. Now we know they even went into voting machines in order to, determine whether or not those voting machines had somehow been breached when they were the ones actually doing the breaching. The only satisfaction may be that the system is working, all of the efforts by Donald Trump, his allies, and his enablers to try to silence the truth, to try to undermine democracy, have been brought into the light, and justice is being pursued.
Yeah, well, we're hoping that justice is also pursued against Hillary Clinton, who has committed major violations of trust with the American people, including when she had her classified documents problem and her insurrection of Benghazi, all sorts of problems that she never got indicted for or raided for. But when it comes to elections, she's saying that Trump was dishonest, and she was saying that he and his people were trying to deviate the public perception about the true nature of the outcome, and he should be indicted 4 times for it. But didn't Hillary say this?
You can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
Oh, felony. Oh, no. Illegal.
How can you win with Russian interference, though?
That's
what
real
I'm scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
Kamala,
he's
felony.
an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate?
Felony.
Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016.
Rico.
He lost the election, and he was put into office.
Put his butt on there. He's a co-defendant.
Russia interfered with our election, attacked our democracy for the sole purpose of artificially placing someone at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They were successful.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
The president or elect, although legally elected, is not legitimate.
I don't see
Waddler Jerry.
President-elect as a legitimate president.
You said you believe that Russia's interference altered the outcome of the election.
I do. We have a president who, if in fact it is proven, has been assisted by the Russians and may in fact not be a legitimate president.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
Wow.
I have an objection.
I object to the
That's
15 votes of
Raskin.
the state of North Carolina. I object because people are horrified.
He's an illegitimate president.
Our election was hijacked. There is no question. Congress has a duty to hashtag protect our democracy and hashtag follow the facts.
John Lewis is completely right. There is a cloud of illegitimacy around the election of Donald Trump.
People.
The Russians interfered with his election. James Comey and the FBI interfered with his election. The fake news industry interfered with his election.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president who got illegitimate foreign help.
Do you believe Trump is a legitimate president?
What I believe is that there's no question that the outcome of this election was affected by the Russian interference.
There absolutely is a cloud of illegitimacy.
So that legitimacy is in question, yes. So that was a very tainted election, and in that sense, it's illegitimate.
Why do you think the president is going to such great lengths to essentially prove that he beat you?
Because he knows he didn't. He knows he's an illegitimate president.
Wow.
Stolen emails, stolen drone,
Karine Jean-Pierre.
stolen election.
Get her too.
Welcome to the world of unprecedented Trump.
So do you believe President Trump is an illegitimate president?
Based on what I just said, which I can't retract.
He tweeted in February 2018, quote, "The more we learn about the 2016 election, the more illegitimate it becomes. America deserves to know whether we have a fake president in the Oval Office."
The Russian attempt to have the election, and frankly, the FBI is weighing in on the election, I think makes his election illegitimate.
There was a widespread understanding that this election was not on the level. We still don't know what really happened, Isaac.
Wow.
I mean, there's just a lot that I think will be revealed, history will discover, but you don't win by 3 million votes and have all this other shenanigan stuff going on and not come away with an idea like, whoa, something's not right here.
Seems Hillary, how the stories change. So when she loses, it's rigged, Trump stole it, it's Russian information, Russian hacking the election, blah, blah, blah. But when Trump loses and he says exactly the same stuff and does the same stuff that she did, much closer margins in many of these other states, she didn't have those same legal arguments to make or didn't make them. Maybe she could have made them, but didn't. But Trump's allowed to make them. So she goes through and is laughing now for committing the same conduct that Trump did. And Rachel Maddow is doing the same thing. Here's another clip from her.
We are still every day dealing with this question of whether or not our president was chosen, not just because of a foreign intelligence operation. We're grappling with this existential question as to whether his campaign was part of that foreign intelligence operation.
Russia,
Vladimir Putin, Russia, hates Russia, Putin,
Russia, all the time. That's all they said. So I think that they should all be indicted. There should be a RICO case open. Some attorney general in some states should just open one. It doesn't even matter. If Fani Willis can just find a couple things in their local state and then go to Michigan, Arizona, Pennsylvania, wherever, then why not? Indict them all because they've all done it. Now, if you want to just focus on Georgia only, I know there's a lot in this segment, but we got Stacey Abrams next because she ran for governor in Georgia and has been crying about it for years and nobody indicted her. Here's 5 minutes of Stacey doing the same thing.
I do have one very affirmative statement to make. We won. But I didn't lose. I got the votes. But we won't know exactly how many because of how they cheated. I did win my election. I just didn't get to have the job. We were robbed of an election.
Using the word rigged, using the word steal, do you think it's dangerous going into 2020?
I don't, because we can actually back it up. And so in response to what I believe
indict this woman
was a stolen election. And I'm not saying they stole it from me. They stole it from the voters of Georgia. In fact, someone outside asked if I'm ever going to concede. The answer is no.
This is not a speech of concession. Because concession means to acknowledge an action is right, true, or proper. And I will not concede because the erosion of our democracy is not right.
People will make you mad. They're going to steal your election. It was not a free and fair election. I think the election was stolen from the people of Georgia.
Wow. I believe it was stolen from the voters.
Thousands of Georgians had their voices stolen because they were not able to cast ballots. And they cannot be guaranteed that their votes will be counted in 2020 if we don't do this right.
If what happens to you happens nationally and we see whoever wins the Democratic nominee, if they say, actually, I can prove that there's a number of votes in every state and that the same thing that you just described happens in multiple states, should they concede?
I do not think we should concede an election until we know the results of an election.
Wow.
I still fundamentally believe
that's interesting. That's almost like what Trump did.
Be fair. And that's just not how life works. If it looks like it's cheating, it probably is.
Yeah, that's true.
If it looks like it's rigged, it probably is.
Thank you for that one. Thank you.
Invalid, in fact, it's uncouth to call a question. That if you want to run for office again, you got to concede the election so that everyone knows you're a good sport. I'm not.
I said that the election was stolen from Georgia voters. The process that took place during the legislative cycle was one that did not countenance and did not pay attention to the deep and real concerns of those who watched this election be stolen in the state of Georgia. It was stolen from the voters of Georgia. As long as we have...
Wait a minute, was that testimony in front of a Senate hearing? Oh my gosh. She testified in front of a Senate. Ted Cruz, a federal Senate. And she said that it was rigged in Georgia. All right, well, as we know, Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, they're all being charged with crimes for this in Georgia. And Big Fannie Willis apparently is not even investigating this woman. Look at all these statements she has.
From the voters of Georgia. As long as we have eligible American citizens who cannot cast a ballot, then the game is rigged. I am complicit if I say that that system is fair. Concession in the political space is an acknowledgement that the process was fair. And I don't believe that to be so. Okay. But I refuse to...
All right, well, there you have it. There's about 35 felonies just right there in the first couple minutes. We know that Hillary committed a bunch of them. Hakeem Jeffries committed a bunch of them. Rachel Maddow committed a bunch of them. So we're very sure, since we don't live in a system where there are double standards, of course, everybody is equal justice and nobody's above the law, as they keep telling us. We're going to wait for their indictments to come any minute now. Thank you for subscribing, as we do.